I wanted to welcome everyone here to our third Codeable podcast, Built with Art. I'm very excited to have two incredible Codeable experts with us now, very, very experienced Codeable experts. Let's start with the introductions.
All right, hey guys,
Nathan?
I'm
Yep.
Nathan. Been solving website problems for going on 20 years now, and half of that's been with Codeable. And Codeable's been a great experience for me. I made a transition from being a kind of a real employee or like having a real job at a desk 9 to 5, working at an agency to finally becoming a full-time freelancer. And Codeable was able to help me really accelerate that transition and really change the trajectory of my life. So I'm very happy to be here and talk about all the success that Codeable's brought me.
Super cool. Marcel?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. My name is Marcel Schmitz. I am half German, half Brazilian, living in Portugal. I've been working in web development since 1998. I've been saying 20 years ago, but I think if my math is correct, that's 27 years ago. So I've stopped counting.
Fair
I've
enough.
been doing WordPress for a while now, but I started with plain CSS, HTML. I went through the .NET phase. Microsoft had cool solutions back then with ASP.NET and all of that. I've been in Codeable since 2016. It's been 9 years. And exactly like Nathan said, Codeable has been very life-changing for me as well. Gave me access to a lot of experiences and a lot of relationships that I would otherwise not be able to get. And so obviously super thankful for that as well. Almost 1,000 projects already within Codeable and overall awesome community. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool. Like, look, I've also been an expert for a while, and yeah, I could definitely see that it's a life changing experience, and that kind of leads perfectly into what we'll be talking about today, how this will work. So each of the experts will kind of bring something they want to discuss in the podcast, and both topics are kind of based around working on Codeable. So it'll kind of work really, really well with these two experts. So Nathan, do you want to get started with what you wanted to talk about?
Sure. So I was thinking it'd be fun to talk about the importance of soft skills for developers, freelancers, something in that capacity. So I think a lot of times you get into these kind of conversations with technical people with these big technical skill sets, and it's very easy to start talking about, I don't know, languages, frameworks, whatever the new, bells and whistles are. And sometimes you can get, in my opinion, a little lost in all of the technical details. And instead, I'd like to focus on, some of the soft skills that can set yourself apart to be a successful freelancer. Good communication, being able to communicate in plain English, building relationships with your clients. So on Codeable, we all have similar skill sets, right? Like we're all technically adept. And so, in my opinion, the soft skills is what can separate a good freelancer from a great one.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like, I mean, yeah, I think many experts or some experts do forget that most clients on Codeable aren't actually that technical. So you explaining in kind of strict detail what you're going to do, most of the clients either don't know or they just want their problem solved. So yeah, soft skills is very important indeed.
I was going to add to that probably I would say if we put on we would try to analyze an expert and the capacities and knowledge that he has to have. I would say it's 50-50, right? Soft skills 50%, technical 50%. It's
Absolutely.
fine if you don't know exactly the technical solution to a problem, but if you're able to communicate and ask the right questions, then that difficulty becomes less of a problem when you communicate correctly, right? So 100% super important. If you miss, even if the balance would be 70-30, 70 soft skills and 30 technical skills, there are still some other people you can ask things about. And if you don't need to be an expert in everything that you do, right? But if you have the right soft skills, respectful, good communication, you know how to present the problem, you know how to explain the problem. If you can even eventually not know the solution immediately, but communicate in a way that you're going to do the extra mile to search for a solution and come up with it and explain it, that wins the client already, right? The technical part then becomes just a technical part.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
I agree with you 100%, especially when you said you can tell the client like I don't know that, right? Or like if you can honestly say I don't know that I don't know the solution to this problem, but I can help you, through this and work through it. I think that's great to be honest with the client. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. Yeah, like I mean, yeah, I think yeah, when a client arrives in the workroom, if they feel that that you understand their problem, then I think you're already halfway there, because obviously they've arrived. Perhaps they want like a new website, and they don't really even understand how it's going to get built. Whether you use Gutenberg or like Elementor. Some clients actually wouldn't even care how it's built. They would like a website. And so if you sort of understand their problem and they build a trust with you, then 9 times out of 10 you'll be at the top of the list in that workroom, and that's where it'd be really successful.
And also not only be able to talk and communicate, but to listen as well. I think that's equally
Absolutely.
important. So if you are able to listen and collect information and ask the questions on the right time with the right amount of information that you want from the client without overwhelming with too many questions and all of that. I mean, there's the written form of communication and participation, which is difficult, right? But if you're talking to somebody on a call, you definitely want to listen more than you want to talk at the beginning, right?
Absolutely. So I just want to ask Nathan. So obviously you said in your intro that you were sort of working full time, and then you transitioned into freelancing. Obviously, like I did the same thing as you, and obviously it can be a struggle to kind of transition into freelancing, where you kind of have to build up a client list, and obviously it helps on Codeable with workers and stuff. How did you find it? Like, or what kind of advice would you give someone who's trying to kind of transition into just being like a full time freelancer and not depending on any kind of full time employment?
Yeah, doing it without a platform like Codeable is difficult, and there's other freelancing platforms as well, right? So there's
Of course.
lots of Pepsi Cokes out there. Anyway, so when I was trying to make that transition initially, I found it to be very difficult. So without a platform feeding you leads, really you have to wear all the hats, right? So now I'm the guy that has to reach out and do all of every single thing, and it became a lot of work, and there's a lot of unbillable time, and it was difficult to make ends meet. Some months were great, some months were not. So I
Absolutely.
would highly recommend if anybody wants to seriously take freelancing like as a full-time thing, to find a platform to get on that will feed you leads, and so that you see projects all day, every day, and can just get right to bidding on projects, or at least communicating, asking questions, right? Scoping out projects with potential clients, as opposed to trying to track them down on your own. That's a huge time saver right there.
Absolutely. And when you transitioned from full time to working on Codeable, did you do a slow transition where you went down to like 75, 50%, 25, or you just went straight into it into freelancing?
So when I got onboarded onto Codeable, I still had a, excuse me, real job. I was working in an agency down in Arizona. And so I would work Codeable at night, right? And just try to
Yep.
stack up a little bit of I don't know, buffer so that I could eventually, leave this job and have some time in case it didn't work out to not be completely stuck. So I would say that was probably 3 or 4 months that I was kind of doing both things, really grinding, and then finally felt like I had enough cushion to make the leap, and I dove in at that point, and it's been wonderful ever since.
Yeah, that's cool. And Marcel, how about you? You seem like a man who never seems to be sleeping.
I've been sleeping more lately because it's affecting my health. Everybody should sleep 8 hours at least. It's
Yes.
my only health advice that I will give ever. Um, the I've always been working for my own company since 1998. I worked 6 months for another agency, and when I figured out how things are done and how I could sort of like do the same thing of my own, I always had this side of to go to clients and talk to them and knock door on door and ask for them if they need any help in terms of website, technology, setting up emails, setting up computers, networks, etc. So I did not only work on software and software development, but also on the hardware part.
Hmm.
That's where I gained more clients on the website building side of it. And I've always had this will to help out other people, other businesses. And so I kind of always worked for myself coming to Codeable for me was not a decision about whether I would give up some full-time job that I had, because I really never had a boss while working. It was for me more about centralizing my source of leads. I had all types of leads, right? So all qualities, low leads, clients that were a pain in the butt, clients that were absolutely awesome, some of them who didn't suddenly have more money to pay me. So I have all kinds of different clients coming in, and the leads that I was becoming from Codeable, it was more about the quality that they had, right? So obviously we have different qualities within the leads that it comes from Codeable. They were already a few notch higher than the ones that I was getting from other types of sources. So for me, the important decision about sort of like firing old clients and just maintaining an investment in terms of getting leads from Codeable was becoming more obvious. At the time, I also had a bunch of people working for me, so it was hard for me to keep all of those people hired and be worried about managing them and paying them salary and stuff like that. So coming to Codeable was also meant giving up all of that responsibility, which gave me a sort of like a relief and made me focus more on myself and getting my own clients. Yeah, and it has been absolutely wonderful. So you build those relationship at the beginning, you invest. Don't think that it's just coming to Codeable and you start working and life is good. You still need to do a lot of investment. You still need to sell yourself out there, your skill sets, your ability to talk, to explain, to negotiate, all of that. But once you start building relationships with clients, work eventually will come to you. And that is the changing part, right? I never had that many repeating clients coming back again. And the whole platform thing and the way that they could easily hire you and trust you from 3,000 miles away or more, it's something that I never found in any other work ambient. Like Nathan was saying, there are other platforms out there. I don't know the other ones. Codeable is definitely somewhere where the client feels comfortable hiring, and we feel comfortable getting those clients to work with us.
Going to touch on the platform thing. So obviously, Codeable is a very exclusive platform. It's highly talented people. It's a thorough vetting process. It's challenging to get onboarded onto Codeable. So if someone, I don't know, if it was taking longer for you to get onto Codeable, there are some other options out there. That's all I was saying. So not really trying to sell somebody on, hey, go somewhere else. Codeable is absolutely where I want to be, and I would recommend everybody be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And look, I really want to shout you out, Nathan, as well. And it's really exciting to have you on, because you were actually one of the reasons I joined Codeable. I remember when I was kind of on the hunt, I was freelancing, and I kind of wanted to find, as you said, a platform. And then I remember I found you had written a blog post on your website, and I think you had made some subreddit or something. So like, yeah, you there was, like, I don't know how long ago it was, 6-7 years ago, you were really making a push to kind of advertise Codeable. So yeah, I remember seeing the stuff you'd written about Codeable. So yeah, you were a big part of me applying on Codeable.
That's pretty cool. That's probably about the time I was doing the WordCamp circuit.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So doing some talks about that and being a successful freelancer on Codeable, and trying to get anybody else into the system, because it went so well for me. Who wouldn't want to do that? Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what, that talking about Codeable experts and hiring, it's a smooth transition to move on to what Marcel wants to talk about. He's in recent times has been really trying to find some of the best experts on Codeable and kind of create some big projects and stuff. So I'm excited to hear what Marcel has to say about this.
I mean, we've been talking about how it is to be an expert and a freelancer on the platform, and how you get clients and how to execute those projects, stand out from all the other experts and gain those clients. There's a whole other perspective that I would like to share today that involves you building a team as a freelancer with other fellow experts, and how you could eventually use the same platform, not to get your clients, but to get your developers to build a team. And so recently, Robin and Tom, who are also experts on the platform, challenged me to build a team with them together. to work for this 6 month project that we all have together. And basically the challenge was to assemble a strong and well coordinated team of 8 developers to start with. And so basically what I wanted to share today is just a little bit of those steps that we went through and how we got to build this awesome team.
Yes, that really sounds good. I mean, yeah, it is a bit of an untapped resource because there's I don't know how many 500-600 active experts. So there's some really great developers on there. So yeah, it's a really smart idea to just to use the resource we already have in front of us.
I think it is, and this not only goes to us that we leave in the platform, and we basically know these people. Some of them we really know in real life, and we've met them in conferences and other events. And you kind of build a relationship with everybody, right? So you have sort of like a good opinion and a good idea of what they're capable of technically, and how they would react in a team environment, right? Because we do think that freelancers usually are best when they're working alone or on their own, and that's not true 100% of the time. There are obviously exceptions, but I think the main way that we can describe an expert, the experts that I know, freelancers that I know that come from Codeable, is that they're ready for anything. They're fighters. They're just whatever you give to them, they execute on it. If they don't know, they ask. If they don't understand, they say they don't understand. If they're not capable, they will tell you. But if they're capable, if they understand, they just simply go and execute. It's in some ways simpler than putting an ad out there and trying to hire for your company. It's kind of curious to notice how easy it is to throw some of the tasks to these experts that we hired in this team. And the thing that I learned that I think is the most valid one is the fact that although they are freelancers and like to work on by themselves and on their own pace and doing their own thing, when it comes to a team, you would imagine probably that it would struggle a little bit in just coping with other rhythms and having to deal with other people responsible for other parts of the project that would somehow influence their work as well. And what I have found out so far is how amazing it is that if they don't know, they ask. If they say they are not capable of executing, they won't even try it and be honest about it. And if they really can do it and can solve the problems that we throw at them, they just go ahead and execute. They're just I was trying to find a word for it. They're just like right on the job and ready to do, and it's kind of really amazing. I wanted to share maybe a little bit some of the challenges I wanted to share with you today. I think they're important to kind of like understand that there exists and maybe help somebody out there who wants to, as an expert or even as a client, hire a bunch of experts to fulfill a bigger project. And there's some challenges that we thought initially as a theory we would have. Some confirmed they were real challenges that came ahead. Some of them were unexpected challenges that we did overcome. So maybe I should just share a couple of them to make sense of what I'm saying right now. There was this ambition from Robin and team to build like this wider team of experts and developers who worked around a specific culture and had like this hunger for solving problems and getting those challenges fixed and solved. And so one of the first challenges we had is how to communicate that culture and how to induce sort of like the idea that we have as a team and how this could work. The fact that we were working with enterprise clients as well and very important and defining tasks helped with everybody like just understanding how important things were. And so building this culture around all of the team members is very challenging. I would put that as the number one, is the most challenging part. Team communication, I guess, would be the second challenge, and that is it a Slack? Is it an email? Is it a ticket somewhere? Is it Jira? Is it Asana? Is it Trello? Build the whole system around it so that the team can communicate between themselves, but also that we can distribute the tasks and let them know exactly what they need to do. And as a number three, I would probably say establish some rules and structure. How do you clearly establish expectations, and how you build the workflows for them, all of them to adapt and work. And the way that we've done this is just by involving them and getting them to know the project. There's a lot of the documentation about the project. They had a bunch of time ahead of time to get to know what is the project about. And so we just took everybody together and we built this structure and these rules together so that everybody had an input on it. And it was nice to build those challenges around that.
Just want to ask, do you let some or any of these new developers, do they have direct communication with the client, or is it all done through like a project manager?
It's a good question. So right now, this particular project, they do not have access to the final client. So we're building this structure as probably a larger agency would, right? So there's project managers, there are team leads, and then there are the developers. So we are just having them communicate back to us, particularly to me as a head of software engineering in this case. And so they love it, right? Because they don't have to communicate with the client. There are maybe it could be that we would allow some communication with some team members of the client, which would make sense to the project if it makes sense. And there's the other advantage. We don't have any problems with that. They have the skill set. They have the soft skills that Nathan was talking about: communication and understanding, being respectful, and all of that. So that's even another aspect, a good aspect of it, right? So if I would hire somebody that would be working for me for 6 months, I would probably not have the courage to put that particular person in front of a big client and participate in discussions, because I know they probably never talked to the client or never had the ability to talk with them, right? So that's definitely another advantage that we have in our process here.
Yeah, it sounds good. And so, and obviously to work as on Codeable as an expert, there is a process like an exam and a kind of soft skill interview. So what kind of process did you have to kind of to sift through all of the applications you had from the experts?
It's a good question. So right off the bat, and although we're constantly talking Codeable this, Codeable that, and how awesome is it, I really feel that we took all of the advantages that Codeable offers. And so we asked Codeable to put together a list of, I think it was 16 developers initially, by giving them the technical skills that we needed. And so Codeable helped pick up some from the 500, 600 that we had, some experts, not only skill set oriented, but also time zone was important for us. We wanted to have just a wider time zone coverage so that we could have work done when some of the team leads were not available and vice versa. So Codeable helped us pick the first ones. And then we did do an interview and got to know a little bit closer all the experts. I would say probably all of them were known to me somehow. They are obviously very good at what they do in the platform themselves. They are highly technical skilled, and so we just basically divided the project in 4 different areas, and then we just tried to figure out by interviewing them which area they would belong to, and then just try to build a team out of those interviews and sort of like trying to guess where they would fit best in the team. And after having them for a couple of weeks working, after small adjustments, everybody just feels super comfortable with whatever they're doing. So interviewing them was a very important part of it. You cannot imagine, and I was going to talk about the achievements, and I think number one is how far we get in a project and how much good work is done when you have the right people and they are motivated to work to achieve the tasks they were giving to them. So our number one achievement is quite incredible the quality of the work has been done by these people, and it's just mind-blowing. The second achievement I would say is the team collaboration. You know how we have within the Codeable community access to Slack and how everybody asks people around, hey, I have this client that has this challenge and I don't know how to do this, or do you have an idea of that? I'm blocked here, I'm blocked there. now imagine this in a smaller scale, right? So everybody has the ability to talk to each other and overcome their challenges. And this is the second most incredible thing that I've seen as an achievement, is how quickly they unblock themselves, like how they ask questions and everybody comes in and everybody has some time to write in Slack back and help them out. It's something that, again, we inherit from all the Codeable culture that there is inside the platform, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the third thing, and not to brag too much about the whole process, is the fact that the team is now almost operating on autopilot. As soon as we got the machine going and having the structure built and them knowing where to look when there's the next thing to do, and having them sort of their own issues with help of others, they're sort of on autopilot right now, which is something I would think it would be very difficult to achieve at the beginning, but it's just simply amazing.
Would you say that this is the future for you and your hiring? So like you pretty much wouldn't look anywhere like in the future, whether this project continues or it sounds like there's going to be future projects. You're pretty much thinking that the future is to hire inside of the Codeable ecosystem.
I think it's a huge possibility that we will do this again, because probably Nathan can also talk a little bit about this. At the beginning, when you're working on yourself by yourself, and you have your clients and you have your projects, it's kind of like you're just showing a little bit, showing very little of what you do and what the clients are and what are you doing in terms of work to other people. When you ask questions to them, you're very protective about your project and how you got the client and how you're working with them, how much is he paying you, what is the size of the project. And so having to reach out to other people on Codeable and asking them to help you out brings a lot of challenges and makes you ask questions. How much can I give away? How much will I pay that expert? Do I have enough budget for him to help me? And all of those initial questions that you have, it's very hard to overcome them, right? Nathan, I don't know about you, if you ever hired other experts to help you out on the tasks. I'm sure you have, but there is this kind of like protective feeling and instinct that, oh, no, I don't want anybody to know what I'm working on and how my code looks like or things like that, right?
Sure. I have much less experience on this side than you do. This is tremendously interesting for me to hear, even though I can't really chime in much. But I have collaborated with kind of onesie twosie stuff, right? Work on a plugin with somebody, things like that. So never to the scale like you, where you're hiring 8 people. But yes, it is relatable, especially like the first time, right? Yeah, you are very protective over that client.
Super, yeah.
And that budget, yeah. But this is a fun topic. It makes me think about kind of scaling forward and maybe what's next. So I've just kind of been me, myself, and I for these 10 years on the platform and ramped it up to the point where, I've probably sold all the hours that I can. But this seems like it would be then perhaps the next step to build a team and have more people involved. And it's very interesting to hear about your story.
I think it is. And Codeable is sort of like getting into a place where the platform itself is giving more opportunity for experts to work as a group and as a team together in different projects, be it a small one or a bigger one. And the more the experts gain this experience, knowing that, oh, if I do this, maybe I'll break the code for that other person, or if I make this decision, I need to communicate this back to another team member, or before I start making decisions of this on this data schema that is going to impact the whole project, maybe I should consult other people. All of this kind of little thoughts that you need to have as a team member, it teaches you something that you otherwise would not learn if you would work by yourself the whole time, right?
Absolutely.
And by the time that we get more of these people involved in teamwork and have those experiences, maybe when Nathan and maybe other experts come in and say, hey, I'm looking for somebody to work, or 2 other people to work on this project. If they come and say, yeah, I've worked in another project with other experts before, and we did it like this, everybody's contributing to the success of this project. So it turns it easier for you, Nathan, and other people to hire experts because they had this experience before. So to answer your question, Andy, I think if I would do this again, now that I'm sort of like, I don't want to say I have success in building this team, but I have knowledge enough to try it again if the opportunity comes, with very small changes to build a group like this. And if you have the budget, it's way more advantage in terms of the project and your whole role managing those people, because don't forget that the whole technical part that we're dealing here with is something that I do know about, that I understand how things work. So I'm still capable of understanding of everything that everybody is doing in technically. That I think is an important part of it. But having the ability to trust most of the people and saying, hey, just do it whatever you think is best. That is, I think, the most interesting part, to be able to delegate a task at somebody who the quality will come back impeccable, and that pays itself off. You will probably need to hire 2-3 people and not earn that much money if you would do it by yourself. But everything else that you gain is just simply it's worth it. So I will definitely repeat that and have that in consideration for sure.
I'd say the coolest thing, and like, look, of course, your prime goal was to complete this project, so you wanted to hire experts. But like, I could speak firsthand, because like, look, I've worked alongside you, and I improved as a web developer working with someone like you, learning your systems and learning the way you work. And you don't realize it, but you've enriched or helped the Codeable community, because you've got this team of 8 together, and they've all improved as developers. Because when you work on a team, you learn different systems. You might, I think you get stuck being a solid developer, and you get stuck in the same way of doing things, which is fine. But your eyes really open up when you work in bigger teams. So you probably don't realize it, but you are improving the whole pool of the Codeable developers. So yeah, you really should be super proud.
If I see other experts hiring other experts to build groups to work on bigger projects and making them successful, then I will accept the compliment. I think Nathan gets 2 other people to work on a big project, and he's super happy that happened. And then Nathan goes and builds other groups of people, and they themselves then turn into team leaders and get other people involved. I think if that happens in the future, I think it's super awesome.
It's wild to go to 8. So it sounds like in the past you had some employees, right, Marcel? And you scaled up. You had 1, and then 2, and then 3, whatever.
Actually 8 as well, but they were all in the same room, and it's a lot harder because they're actually there and distributing. And we didn't even touch the fact that all are distributed, right? We have people that are residing in Japan, other people in the United States, and then we have people from Europe as well. Yeah, but I had 8 people sitting in front of me that were where I was available physically for them to ask me questions and for us to go through things that probably in a distributed way you would first try to solve your problems by yourself and then ask. So yes, I had a lot of school in terms of dealing with people back in the time, so that might have helped a little bit for sure.
Yeah, I was just kind of imagining, like, when you were talking about it, that maybe you started from not 8 people in that same room on day 1, right? And so I was like, well, okay, if I was trying to build a team like that feels a lot like I'm diving headfirst in the deep end, right?
100%.
So definitely there's some path to scale up and work with 1 and 2. And
there is. And the technical experience that you have in the project is super important as well, because you then become some sort of like an authority in terms of how you help people decide. If you have experts that are on the fence and using either library A or library B, you obviously let them discuss and give their input. But if you have a strong opinion on how to move forward, and that proves to be the right decision to make, you sort of become like this reference in the team where people feel comfortable that they will have a good guidance when they need to make a decision. And this was something that I learned through when I had people sitting in front of me when we had these discussions, and I learned, okay, so if you give them a little bit of room and ask them the right questions, they will get there by themselves. And that's super cool. And that's certainly very important for me to be able to do remotely, because it's much harder remotely, but you get the small signs, right? So if you talk to people and they respond in a certain way and they react and they do code and stuff like that, you figure out that they're good at what they do. But then again, it's a platform where people were vetted before, so you expect them to do that, right?
Yes.
The people that I hired before, were probably starting for the first time as the first job, so it's different.
Someone that Marcel has not mentioned yet. He has a secret, like a secret dev, probably sitting right next to him, right there, who is an incredible dev, and
true.
having him on as your right hand man would be great also.
Yeah, we're talking about Nono, and he has been with me since almost the beginning of that agency that we were talking about, and it was his first job as well. But he definitely is one of the most experienced and more talented people I've ever worked with. So
yeah, absolutely.
There
he's
you go.
he's a superstar. He's a superstar for sure.
I suppose you get a leg up hiring on Codeable, Marcel, with the spirit of collaboration already being ingrained in the platform.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Huh. Well, I'm going to certainly try to find some projects and build a team after this. This is inspiring.
I would definitely advise you to do that. And not only you, but also maybe clients who are hearing this and watching this on YouTube, if they ever like have the thought of hiring 2, 3, 4 people on Codeable, there are other experts out there in Codeable who are good project managers as well. So you don't probably need just to hire technical people. There are other people who could help you manage those teams. And maybe agencies that already have other people out there and they want to expand their teams. I wouldn't have done it any other way if I wouldn't have these already vetted and super talented people available. So that's half of the work, I would say, or more than half of it.
You know what, Marcel, that was a great segue. If you are watching on YouTube, then please click the like and subscribe button. If it's your first time here, we do a episode every month. This is the 3rd one, so yeah, there'll be one up next month as well. So yeah, I just wanted to really thank both of you for being here and sharing your great wealth of knowledge. It was really amazing to have you both on this podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Andy. This was fun.